Hi, this is Roger with Satyagraha News Network, and it is December 4th, 2020. Trump is a psychopath. In fact, my nickname for him is Psychopath T. Even though the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Psychiatric Disorders does not list psychopathy as a diagnosis, it is a widely studied criminal trait and probably the least desirable of any diagnosis anyone would want to have. Psychopathy indicates a complete lack of empathy and for all intent and purposes takes an individual out of the realm of humanity, out of the realm of being a human being. Probably the greatest theoretician of psychopathy is the Canadian psychologist Robert Hare, who has studied criminal behavior and psychopathy for decades. Though I do not have access to his psychopathy checklist, I believe I have found a pretty accurate analog of it on the internet in which 20 criteria are listed. In a face-to-face interview with the individual, a trained clinician can see whether the person endorses psychopathy or not. I do not pretend to have these bona fides or access to Donald Trump, so please take this into consideration when determining whether you believe Trump to be a psychopath or not. Some of the traits that determine psychopathy are a glib and superficial charm, a grandiose estimation of oneself, a constant need for stimulation, pathological lying, cunning and manipulativeness, a lack of remorse or guilt, shallow affect, callousness, lack of empathy, a parasitic lifestyle, poor behavioral controls, sexual promiscuity, early behavioral problems, impulsivity, lack of realistic long-term goals, failure to accept responsibility for one's own actions and irresponsibility, many short-term marital relationships, and juvenile delinquencies. People with no criminal backgrounds normally score 5 on this scale. The cutoff on the scale is 30, and anyone with a score of 30 or above would endorse psychopathy. According to my calculations, Trump scored 33 on the scale at the very least, entitling him to the moniker Psychopath T. Most of the responses that Donald Trump endorsed in absentia positively endorsed these traits without a doubt, though on few of the answers I was uncertain because I do not have access to Trump's early life or other aspects of his life. I think it is fairly apparent that Trump endorses glibness and a superficial charm, a grandiose estimation of himself. He is a pathological liar. He is manipulative. He has shallow affect. He is parasitic and callous with poor behavioral controls, and with something like 26 charges of sexual misconduct, is sexually promiscuous. This man is dangerous, and he has hoodwinked a large proportion of the population, and I would be more than willing to do a face-to-face interview with him if he is willing to do that on this psychopathy checklist. You can fool some of the people some of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. This is Roger for Satyagraha News Network, where truth is the force. Thank you for your time.